Good morning, good morning. Should be able to see. And now here, I'm kind of orienting this. Welcome, welcome. Jumped into the wrong room for the first thing there, so about a minute. Had to get out of that one, jump in this one. We scheduled them. Okay, cool. Mr. Blue here, TradePhantoms.com. While I'm kind of getting this fairly oriented here, today's date, September 10th, Tuesday, 2024. I'll be your guide and host for about an hour, give or take, kind of take you through a bit of some morning routine in the markets, mainly futures and stock options. And should be good to go there. Good morning on to Eric A. All right, probably a little quicker to hear. Crickered. Terry's in the house. J.O.'s in the house. Welcome, guys. New week. Terry. Santo, Asher. TNT. All right, I think this is going to be the best I can get it here. So let's dive in. All right, couple notes here. So yeah, Mr. Blue, TradePhantoms.com, all that good stuff, right? A couple notes here. I will say as well, Mr. Blue here. Couple notes. Whoa, too aggressive there. Number one being, obviously today, yes, Wednesday, September 11th. Tomorrow's Wednesday, September 11th. Today, obviously, is Tuesday. Today, there's really not much in terms of news as a news catalyst this morning. So, however, I will say tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern, we do have core CPI, if y'all can see that. Okay, so tomorrow's a fairly significant in terms of news catalyst, a significant input data. So CPI, so that's a big one there, right? And then yeah, for Friday is going to be pretty quiet, and then on Thursday we have PPI, and it just as always really quick. Next week this will be more in focus and in play, but we do have Fed meeting next Wednesday, so a week from tomorrow. Okay, so we'll talk more about that as we see fit. Okay, so today is going to be fairly quiet for the most part. There's really nothing. Well, in terms of news, nothing too crazy here. We got some forex, we got some British pound, some currency news there. But okay, so I'm going to dive over into the charts here. So, and I will start out with this just really quickly. If you are brand spanking new, just watching this on the tube, welcome. We always want to start with what's called, a top-down approach, multiple time frame analysis. Okay, so at Phantoms, we focus a lot, okay, on demand and supply, institutional demand, institutional supply. Okay, starting in with an emphasis of multiple time frame analysis, starting with the top down. Okay, so you got monthly, weekly, daily. Okay, very important note here that you can start off your trade plan with. Okay, we are the second week into the month of September now, right? So we got monthly, weekly, daily. I kind of color code certain things here. We got the candlesticks here, bullish candlesticks, bearish candlesticks, location being extremely important regarding these candlesticks, and then we have the liquidity map, which we talk a lot about at Phantoms. Just staying on the right side on the market and ride. Okay, don't care which side it goes, up, down, or sideways. Just get on the right side and ride. Okay, so now I'm on Thinkorswim here. I'm hoping that you can see this fairly decent here. I got the monthly, weekly, daily here. All right, I'm gonna switch over into the intermediate and the smaller time frames. Okay, so we start out with 3 time frames: upper time frame, middle time frame, low time frame. So I have the 60-minute time frame upper left, 30-minute lower left. I got the 5-minute time frame here in the middle, and I have the 2-minute time frame here on the right hand side here. So I got futures. So as you can see, yesterday, I went back to the daily time frame. Okay, matter of fact, let me just go over here and do this just really briefly. Okay, we can start out with the major 4 indexes here. Okay, so I have the S&P futures on the left, I got NASDAQ upper right, I got Dow Jones lower left, I got Russell 2000 on the bottom right. I'll just open this up here on the daily time frame of the S&P futures. And yesterday was a inside day, so on Friday we had a nice little drop down. Okay, we had continuation. We were talking about this Last week we had this kind of doji bar. If we broke below it and remained below it, it's a hanging man bar. Okay, you can maybe rewind the recording from last week, last Tuesday, last Thursday. I was discussing that. Okay, that led to a nice little drop last week, which was expected. Okay, which was expected if I'm just looking at the weekly time frame here of SPYs. Okay, here's the weekly time frame of SPYs. That candle right there specifically is what I was talking about here. Okay, so this was last week's close. Not last week's close, but when we were trading last week, this was the prior week's close. Okay, so we talked a little bit about that. If we kind of snapped below this, that was going to provide potentially, technical analysis wise, a drop down. We got that last week, right? So we kind of held. Okay, the bears kind of just took the ball and ran with it just for last week, right? We did come into some balance here. Okay, we have the Japan low here. We got last month's VWAP, which I'm just using. I'm probably gonna cut that off probably at the end of this week, okay, because we have now this week's VWAP, volume weighted average price right here. This is a weekly time frame of the SPY. So, just where we are in the bigger picture, okay, obviously, we're still in a macro bull uptrend. Last week was a nice little pullback coming off of close to the highs with that doji bar there. Okay, so now we kind of balanced out just a little bit here. Okay, now I went to the futures time frame, and yesterday was kind of like a very calm kind of digestion day, if you will. Okay, so we had Tuesday. Last week was a holiday, right? So this was Tuesday's bar, really set the tone for last week. Okay, then we had Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday. So Tuesday and Friday was the big kind of pushers in terms of price action. Okay, down. Okay, and then these two bars here, that was just kind of meandering in the middle there. So what am I trying to say right now is we are still inside of Friday's bar. Okay, so albeit yesterday we had a little bit of a decent little push higher. Okay, most stocks were up yesterday for the most part. Okay, we're still inside of that Friday's bar. So just mapping out Friday's high, Friday's low, even though we should be mapping out yesterday's high, yesterday's low, you'll see in the SPYs in a moment. I want to reference that Friday's bar because if we start to take that bar out, the bulls might be coming back into play here. Okay, I can say the same thing for NASDAQ. The NASDAQ dropped a little bit lower. Okay, so we were shorting, NASDAQ and S&Ps, on Friday, caught a nice little trade, nice big trade actually. It was a nice trade on Friday. But I can say the same thing on a daily time frame. NASDAQ futures, here, excuse me, I apologize. Excuse me, NASDAQ futures. Okay, a little bit of a green bar inside day as well. Okay, I'm just gonna get straight to, and I could do Dow and Russell. Russell has been tough to trade lately. It's just have not been able to really make any breakthrough. Okay, up or down. Okay, so I like trading Russell 2000, but it's been tricky as of late. It's just no fall through each way. Okay, so I'm gonna go down to the switch back over into the monthly, weekly, daily here, and change this to futures. But I'm gonna go to the smaller time frame. Blue, that Wednesday and Thursday's bar would be IBI. Yeah, we get some supply, so I'm going to drill down to, so I got the 60-minute, 30-minute, 5-minute, 2-minute here, right? So that was kind of the weekly / daily. Okay, I'm going to scroll down to the 60-minute time frame. So yeah, on the based on what was it, Montu's question, I think. So we have so we do have some drop here. Okay, we do have some drop from Friday's bar, kind of Wednesday. There's some stuff in here. Okay, if here's a current price up and left. If I go up and left, there's some supply here and here, etc. But I just want to be extremely careful with these levels here, just because it's not really the highest quality level in the world. Okay, here's current price. We're already kind of breaking, or we're already kind of snapping above here. So this is this little level right here. This is the Friday reference. Basically the Friday high reference. So I would especially reference this high right here, which is essentially going to be Friday's high. So that comes in at about 53, call it rounding up 34. Okay, so this is Friday's high, if I'm not mistaken here. Yeah, it is. All right. All right, this is Friday's high, and this is going to be I would say, for the bearish, the sellers, bearish, they're going to have to really defend at that level, right? So if we start to break and hold above Friday's high, that would be what's called a positive COG. Okay, so now if I look at these supply levels right here, they're not the greatest supply levels, and basically these are all tested from last week. Okay. What makes it a great level? If it's fresh, if it's prime and fresh, So when you go take essentials with Mr. Black, okay, he talks about has this level been tested yet, or fresh, or prime, right? And these levels have all been tested, right? So it's not the greatest level in the world. Plus, structure-wise, it's not the greatest as well. Okay, now if I map out my Globex high, which is going to be basically, we're still putting in a Globex high right now because S&Ps are on the highs right now. They're up about 0.3%. Okay, nothing too crazy there. But let me see. So if I have the Globex high, Globex low here. Okay. The fresher level of supply is going to be in here, up here. Okay, so if I compare these, if I just take Friday's high, and then I look at these, if I look, here's current prices over here. If I look at these levels, they're not the greatest here. So we have, starting over here to the left, we have drop, a basing, and then a drop, and then a drop, a basing, and then a drop. So these ones here are going to be a lot more, I would say, valid in terms of institutional order flow levels of supply. So I have 55.75, 55.92. I also had a note there too. I would not put my stop loss right above that level because you're probably going to be market maker shark bait, okay, liquidity sweep, okay? So you might even want to wait for this level to come up in here and almost put your entry at like 55.90s, give or take up here. Okay, we have another one up here too, 56.25. Okay, so let's just level on level in terms of supply up here. So these ones are going to be the better ones. I was supposed to copy paste this one. There we go. These ones are going to be the better ones up here, the 55.90s and the 56.20s up here with the levels. Okay, just structural wise. Okay. Now, if I scroll down and left, okay, we had a couple levels here, 55, 54, 55. That kind of got tagged last week, and we kind of broke even more deep into that. I had the 54.15 handle, okay, that we came down into this level down in here, okay. And that's basically, for the week, on Sunday night, we just opened up basically where we closed, and, we just went down a couple points below the 5400, give or take, okay, and now we're fading back up. Okay, now we're, S&Ps are trading 55s. Okay, so it's going to be pretty interesting. Now remember, the macro bull market is still in play. Okay, so just remember also, if we are shorting into supply, okay, I can move on short and sweet here. Are we still in a bullish market, or are we in a bearish market? Bullish market or bearish market? Bullish or bearish? We're in a bullish market, right? So just know that still shorting this market is going to be a bit more harder to do. Yes, last week we were shorting, yes, albeit, but just know that if I'm looking for supply levels, okay, and markets rallying up into supply because of the macro picture, the higher time frame, okay, the macro trends on the monthlies and weeklies, etc. You're going against that grain, if you will. So that's why, therefore, these little levels here, albeit yes, they're levels, they're supply where markets reacted and came down, okay, but they're not the greatest levels in the world, right? And again, we're going against the macro picture. So if we start to base, we got CPI tomorrow, right? And we start to, the market really likes the CPI print. Okay, this is a nice little pullback here, all right? And if I'm just looking at the monthly and the weekly, and just forgetting the daily for a moment, okay, we're still in a nice, nice uptrend here, okay? On the monthly, look at this, right? Weekly, look at this, right on the 20 pair moving average on the weekly. Okay, we got some VWAPs right here. Okay, we got yearly VWAP down here. So again, we had a nice little pullback last week. So if this market it catches some bids, this market could potentially still continue to its higher move. Okay, I got into Tesla yesterday long. I got an AVGO. Okay, for a swing, January expiration. I'll talk a little bit more about that maybe when the market opens, or especially with you Phantoms groups, with the Phantom group tomorrow. Okay, so there's our Globex trap levels. I would still have 54.15. Okay, what's called the Globex trap. If you break below the Globex low, okay, we want to have an institutional level of demand below that. I still have 54.15 pinned off there. If we could potentially get back down there, it's because it moved so quick off that level. It might have some demand unfilled orders still left down here. Okay, the lower one I also pinned the 53.97. I should just make this green. 53.75. Sorry, 53.75. I'm just gonna make that green. This is supposed to be bullish. Okay, 53.75. There's a decent little level right in here. Okay, 53.75. I'll do NASDAQ. Okay, same thing, monthly, weekly, daily. I know it's tough to see here with all my notes here. I'm gonna get straight to the 60 here, map out of Globex high and Globex low. Jesus, chart's getting insane. Here's the Globex low, Globex high. I'm on a 60-minute time frame NASDAQ futures. 60-minute time frame NASDAQ futures. And you can see, you know, right here, I don't know if anybody caught this, but we had a supply level here. Okay, it did tag right here. Okay, you know, right there. See, I had 9,140, whatever, right? Came in there, a couple points right in there into this drop. Okay, into this supply over here to the left. Okay, if you go to the 30-minute time frame, you'll see the drop base drop in there, the IBI. Okay, so yeah, we you know, we respected that level. Okay, right off there, we base. You know, last Friday again, you know, same thing. Yesterday being Monday in this darker space here, not a lot of happening here, not a lot of price movement happening here, right? And then basing, Globex high, Globex low. So Nasdaq is kind of basing a bit more in here too, as well. It's similar to S&Ps. Now I'll still have this one up here pinned. This is again, there's going to be levels here. Be careful with these ones here. We can swipe up using Friday as a reference high as well. Okay, Friday's high, because that is going to be basically the mother bar, inside bar, right? Yesterday was an inside bar, inside candle. Okay, so this is Friday's high right there. So I'd reference that. And because we just dipped into that level and swiped down fairly so quick, there still might be some decent little supply up here. So call it 19,200. Okay, 19,200 in NASDAQ futures. And again, this was demand. Okay, demand. We finally broke. That was last week. We finally broke out with some more authority here, especially in NASDAQ. Okay, and then was a flip zone, right? It was once demand, now supply on the other side. So in short, okay, I'd maybe pin that up a little bit more higher. Okay, 19,200. I look out for liquidity sweep right above this level, and then I have 19,460. 19,460. Okay, so there's levels up here as well. Okay, this is NASDAQ futures. For the lower for Globex trap demand, okay, we can reference the 18,340. That is just the low that just got put in from last Friday's low. And another thing that you might want to do is, you know, reference lower down in here, potentially into the 18,000 handles. We have the 200 moving average on the daily time frame here in NASDAQ futures as well. So, you know, 18,000 is going to be a fairly interesting level in the NASDAQ for futures because, you know, as we're pulling back like most things are right now, mainly FANG, you know, Magnificent Seven is, you know, pulling back right now. Equally weighted S&P is a bit more, I'd say, stronger. So markets broadening out a little bit here. Okay, so you know, if you know, when you drill down into the 18,000 level, you know, I would refine for some of my phantoms. They know how to refine into some levels down in there. Okay, get the daily 200 moving average down there as well. I'm gonna switch over into gold and oil. Starting with oil first. Oil monthly, weekly, daily. Monthly is over here on the left. Very rangy, right? We were talking about this for quite some time. Okay, very rangy on oil for a couple of years. All right, we are down here close into, or I would say into that lower range of monthly timeframes. Okay, so just know that you know, oil right now is starting to range a little bit. I know it's going to be hard to see with this little orange box here. Let me see if I can move that over. All right, Globex high, Globex low. Here's the Globex low. Oil futures here, oil futures, 60-minute time frame. You know, I'd be very careful with these levels here. Okay, here's current price up and left. Current price up and left. I'd be extremely careful with these levels here. I have 19, you know, call it 19. I'm sorry, 72.40. Okay, 72.40, 72.50 up to 7,300, even 73. We have you know, a decent little level of supply. All right, these ones right here, I'd be careful just because, you know, same thing I've been saying, the S&Ps, it's not the greatest quality of levels here. Okay, just kind of tags here. All right, so I'm looking for a nice drop, a basing and a drop. These are just kind of all going to be retest to here. So again, location-wise too, we're very low, quote unquote, on the curve for on the monthly time frame. Okay, so it might be, I'm not sure if this might be easier to see, but on oil, okay, just refining into that level. It's a massive level right here. Okay, all right, so massive level in here. I got off the phone right before I got on YouTube, so I'm a little bit like behind in my own mind here. Massive level in here. So yeah, refined down in here. All right, there's not a lot of great stuff down in here. It's just really just, you know, when you see something like this where it's just you know, tested, you know, like here's current price, right? It's just been tested, wiki. So there could just be a lot of, you know, liquidity sweeping that happens here, where you just get these flushes, okay? Where you just get these flushes, all right? So you know, you could potentially get just these flushes and it comes back mean reversion. Okay, so yeah, just be careful, okay? Because if you have orders down here, you could just be, you know, a victim of the flush, okay? Right, you can even see it right here. All right, there's a wick, you know, I'm on a weekly time frame here, right, and a monthly, okay, inside of a monthly area. So you can see, you know, weekly lows, and sometimes you get these little flushes right below them. So I would not be surprised if they flush below 66.90s, okay? So yeah, just be careful because you can get a little bit of wiki flush action down in here on oil. Okay, so just gonna pick off your levels properly. You know, it's gonna be hard to do just because if it does begin to start to flush, you know, you get these like long wicks here, so it could just flush you out and stop you out. So this, you might want to trade options at around this area, so you can, you know, buy calls instead of trying to get flushed out with futures, right? Calls you could you know, you can you don't have to worry about as much of the flush outs because, you know, you're trading the option contract as opposed to catching the level in futures. Okay, I'm backed up, so I gotta move on here. But the supply, I would still pin these areas up here, as mentioned, you know, call it 73, okay? Just remember too, we're on the low range, so anybody who is short, you know, accumulation, distribution, they're gonna be taking some profits, and then if we do pop, you know, some shorts, are gonna have to be forced to buy the cover, okay? So that could be a noteworthy to mention as well. Gold, monthly, weekly, daily up. Gold futures here, monthly, weekly, daily. Okay, I've been talking about this for quite some time. You know, just macro picture. I'm gonna go straight to the 60. Okay, Globex low, Globex high. Here's Globex low. Here's Globex high. All right, we had this level up here, 25.58, you know, just a basic level of supply, not the greatest in the world, very rangy, right? You know, it ended up working out, don't get me wrong, it ended up working out. I didn't take it personally. 25.58 up here, just a level of supply, not prime, not fresh, kind of rangy, kind of choppy, right? In terms of gold, right now on the monthly weeklies, okay, we're all close to all-time highs. All right, just kind of basing here. All right, I brought up the seasonality chart last week. I'm backed up a little bit right now, so I won't bring that up. Maybe next week I'll bring that up. Usually, typically, a month of September, October, November-ish, seasonality-wise. Okay, looking back 30 plus years in gold, typically a bit more bullish seasonality-wise. Okay, so of course I'm going to be leaning. Not only that, but I'm going to be leaning against, you know, obviously, you know, the macro picture uptrend here, monthly, weekly, daily, right? So I have this blue dashed or this blue color code levels down here. That lets me know that we are pulling back into the daily time frame of demand. Okay, and I have the 60-minute time frame of gold here. Okay, and I have these little you know, rally base rallies here. So, you know, in short, 24.90 still a anchor or a lean against. We can lean against this for demand. 24.80, give or take, as well. Okay, and I'll even just add, in addition to that, you know, 24.72. If I look down and left, okay, this is a nice little IBI down in here as well. Call it 24. Yeah, just rounding up 24.70. All right, so yeah, gold. You know, the challenge is, you know, is it going to get down here to swipe down? I'm hoping that it does, so we can build some longer, some longs, right? Some longs, and you can potentially even get more, not just day trade longs, but potentially even some swing trades. Okay, so you got gold futures, you get GLD for stock options. Okay, so you can maybe pick up some GLD calls. Okay, you can sell put credit spreads. Okay, in addition to trading futures, right? So at Phantoms, we trade up all asset classes, right? Stocks, futures, and forex. So these levels are still good. I'm going to be, I kept the 2,500 left on as well. 2,500, we almost nicked that. Okay, the low right now on gold from what week or two ago, give or take, was what 25.02. So we're about 2 points away from that 2,500. Okay, major psychological number. So if that snaps, okay, below it, okay, people are like, oh no, gold just broke 2,500. Oh no, into a level of demand. So into a level of demand on the higher time frame. So we'll see if that happens. Okay, I would still pin the 25.58, which we already got tagged on that. Okay, but it has been tagged a couple times, so it's not prime. Okay, so just be careful with that level right here, 25.58. And again, yeah, we could be base breaking here. It could be one massive base for a breakout higher. So just be careful with these selling short into supplies on gold, because it's a macro picture bullish uptrend on the monthlies and the weeklies. Okay, going into a major base right now. Okay, I feel like I'm a little off this morning. Let me go to the VIX. See if I can get back on track here. Okay, right now, okay, so a couple things pre-market. Want to check the VIX. Okay, VIX dollar. Let me see. We got the technology sector this morning is one of the stronger ones out the gate this morning. Okay, before the market opens in about 15 minutes, give or take. Okay, so typically, we got well, I'll leave that there. So we'll see how we'll see how this pans out. But right now, most sectors are fairly decently green. Okay, tech leading the way just a little bit after getting pummeled for the past couple of weeks. Okay, so tech has been strong, leading for the past couple of years, and then now just recently, past couple of months, tech has been taking a back seat for right now. VIX daily time frame. We need to know VIX down, market up. VIX up, market down. Inverse correlation. Okay, 30-day implied volatility of SPX. I'm going to daily time frame. I'm just mapping up yesterday's high, yesterday's low. Okay, so we need to understand is VIX down, market up. VIX up, market down. Right now we got VIX down 1.4%. Okay, so we look at this on the macro picture. We also just take a look at this and track this on an intraday basis as well. So just mapping out my Globex high and said VIX here, Globex low. Okay, that gray space here. All right, and I want to see how this pans out, right? So if VIX drops down and continues to make lower lows, it's going to be more bullish. Okay, if VIX rallies up and trends higher, okay, we could be a bit more bearish. Okay, so it's one of the major things to look for just for internals. Let me see pre-market quote on SPYs. As it stands right now, S&Ps are up about 0.30%. Okay, so I'm on a daily time frame of SPYs. Yesterday's high, yesterday's low is right here, highlighted in blue. I got last week's high in yellow. Okay, up here. Last week's low right here. So as you can see, Friday is a This bar right here is going to be a lean against bar, meaning I'm leaning against that because that is basically the inside candle. Or this is the mother bar, and this bar is inside yesterday. So yesterday was an inside day. Now today we're gapping up. Okay, today we're gapping up, but we're gapping up above yesterday's high, but we are still inside of Friday's mother bar here. Okay, so again, even this market holding up just a little bit pre-market. Futures, Nasdaq futures up, tech a little bit more strong this morning. I can't get too ecstatic about that and too ahead of myself because we're still inside of that Friday's bar. So again, as mentioned in the S&Ps and Nasdaq futures, okay, this Friday's bar is going to be fairly important because if the bulls can take that bar out, we'll be in a positive COG. Okay, Nasdaq, same thing. Okay, I kind of illustrated this out not too long ago, where we have our monthlies, okay, impulse, correction, impulse, and I put dailies in blue here, and we are here and Nasdaq, so it's going to be pretty interesting to see. A couple people talking about this potentially if this is the right shoulder, okay, left shoulder, head, right shoulder. So again, same thing. Just looking at macro picture, if this market continues to drop and drop lower and don't put in a bid, we could be testing in terms of Nasdaq the Japan carry trade rate change lows potentially down in here. If not, and this market to put in some foundation here, and the buyers come back into play. Okay, specifically if we can get back above Friday's belt hold leg bar down. Okay, we could potentially have that little right shoulder get put in there. Okay, so just stay on track. Okay, September usually is a bit more of a weaker month. Okay, it's only week 2 of said September, but just be on your P's and Q's. Okay, as always. All right, so it'll be pretty interesting to see what's going to happen here with these markets, especially Fed next week. In addition to, okay, we got let me see, bonds. I am long TLT in my macro portfolio. By the way, bonds slightly higher today. So bond price up, seesaw effect, yield down. Yield down means market up. So we got bonds and VIX telling us that the market, if the bulls want to come out and play and we're above VWAP all day, we could fade higher. Okay, and maybe we see if we could test Friday's highs. Okay, Friday's highs. Just mapping out yesterday's high, yesterday's low here real quick. Oh man, Joe Frank, Joe Frank, man, you are trying to bring Intel back to life. Intel's a dead dog, brother. It's about to get delisted. It's about to get delisted from the New York Stock Exchange, I think. Apple, side cap down. Yeah, there's a couple other things that we do pre-market, but I'm just kind of going through quick. I know there's a lot of stocks. I'm going to go mainly to the FANG stocks just because I know that they're liquid. Okay, Magnificent 7. Okay. Yeah, that thing is a zombie. You're trying to bring it back to life. Godspeed. Good luck. Let's see. Apple, yesterday's high, yesterday's low. Slight gap down, inside gap. Okay, Apple's coming out with their new iPhone with AI built into it. Amazon, I want to be careful with Amazon. Okay, very rangy. Okay, very rangy. Yesterday's high, yesterday's low. Right inside, inside gap from Friday's bar. Want to be very careful with Amazon. Just for the day trade. Okay, we kind of bounced out on yearly VWAP, just kind of in the middle. We're just in the middle of the Japan low here and all-time highs here. We're just in the middle, so be careful with Amazon. Google's relatively more weaker. This thing has been breaking down. S&Ps are trying to break a little bit more higher here on futures. Google is a bit more weaker in terms of just the Magnificent 7, all the other FANG stocks there. However, still amazing company. So this is going to be interesting here because I actually wanted Google to come lower so I can kind of build up on a longer term position on this. I would need more time to explain that. But in short, for YouTube here, for free here, I get the 140, the 130 handles. It would be awesome to have the 130 handles potentially hit on said Google down in here just for a macro buy-in. So we can, if you understand options, you can maybe sell some puts on these down moves here, sell some puts, willing to own, okay? And or potentially wait for it to get down here on a macro picture, higher time frames, monthly, weeklies for a longer term. You can see S&Ps are trying to break out a little bit here. S&P futures about to touch that 5,500 here. Just looking at that screen, we got Tesla. Tesla, I did get long Tesla yesterday, okay? I am long Tesla. I picked up the January 17th expiration 300 strike call for 840. Okay, so I picked these up yesterday for January expiration. Okay, I'm on a daily time frame of said Tesla. Yesterday's close here, inside day. Right now, pre-market quote, slight gap higher, gapping up or around to yesterday's high. So it'll be interesting to see if what Tesla does today. Friday, I like Friday's bar just because it pulled back down into an area. So the good and the bad, right? The yin and the yang. The good thing was, it pulled back decent for a swing trade, for going bullish on this. Okay, could be wrong on this, but I don't like that bar that got put. I liked it, but I liked it because it pulled back for us. It's not really the greatest formation here. Tesla's been kind of a rangy stock, then pop. So we're in another kind of rangy kind of pinch, right? Kind of range here, and then some shorts are obviously always built up for Tesla. Tesla could benefit from rate cuts, etc. Okay, while market and while all the other FANG stocks were kind of lower, like look at Google, okay, even Microsoft, Nvidia, okay, kind of fading lower while Tesla's kind of holding up relative strength wise. Okay, so I went long on this for a swing. For the day trade, we've been doing very well on this too. But this Friday's bar is obviously, again, same thing. I'm going to be using this Friday's bar as a reference. So we would need this Friday's bar to get taken out. And we have some supply here too. That if that were to be the case, we have an unfilled gap up here. So Tesla, if the bulls can carry this up Okay, Tesla might have some room to potentially get up. Okay, we'll see. All right, this black line right here, this darker gray line here is yearly VWAP. So we are still holding above its yearly VWAP. It was used as supply below it all year until we broke above it. So the regime kind of shifted a bit here. We'll see if the bulls can still hold that up. Okay, let me see Meta. Let me see Meta, same thing. Friday's bar, last week's high, last week's low. Yesterday's high, today's low. Meta overall, it was showing relative strength. Meta might be interesting too for a potential pop higher. Okay, but we could come lower before that. Okay, so obviously this is a very basic level right here, range. You can see they're doing some liquidity sweeping down here. Those wicks. All right, so it'll be pretty interesting to see if we can come lower on that. Microsoft has been interesting. It just cannot really get out of its own way here. In the higher time frames, they get like the liquidity sweeping here. Right, I'm sure that the CMTs of the world and the technicians are like, look at this head and shoulder. Microsoft's dead, right? Measured move on the head and shoulder, basic shit. Oh, you can't swear on YouTube. You can't. Oh, algorithm police are after me. I'm in YouTube prison now. Call me Tyreek Hill. Let's see. So yeah, I mean, technicians like head and shoulder, measured move, whatever. Okay, that basic stuff there. But we'll see. Microsoft outside. Somebody mentioned that we touched outside above the VWAP or last week's VWAP pre-market, which is true. If I read that correctly, last week's VWAP, which is going to be this month's VWAP here on the dailies. Right now we are gapping above. Okay, kind of on yesterday's high. All right, we'll see if that continues. But Microsoft is kind of in a weird spot too. It's just kind of in a weird spot, just kind of meandering. So Fang needs to figure out what it wants to do here. Is it going to continue to just be a bit more weaker and just sell off for a little bit more, or is it going to hold some bids and come back into play? The Magnificent Seven. Okay, so it's kind of like risk on, risk off. Okay, type deal is risk on would be Fang Magnificent 7 up. Nvidia. Everyone thinks Nvidia is done. I don't know if anybody did this, but I was pricing out some sold puts. Okay, I'm still continuing to sell some puts on Nvidia lower. I'm looking at the 80-70 handle. Give or take. I was looking at some Octobers yesterday, so sell some puts, let it come down into this monthly. We have an unfilled gap here at 85. For today, outside gap, yes, we're actually gapping outside above Friday's high on ticker Nvidia. Okay, now so it would be pretty interesting here if we can kind of hold above this Friday's bar. So this is one that we're going to be opening in about 4 minutes. We'll see if that changes or not. But this is one that is already giving us an outside gap of Friday's bar. Okay, let me just check. Let me check AMD real quick and AVGO. I'm also long AVGO. Same thing on AMD. I'm already long AVGO. I'm long AVGO as well. On AVGO, I have and picked up the 176 strike call January 17th. Okay, bought those for 323. All right, so I gave that to the group. Yeah, AMD and Nvidia looking good. They're outside gap on Friday, but be patient because I want to see if that holds. Let me check Yeah, JP Morgan was decent too. XLF has been the stronger sector. I am so off this morning. SMH, shaking my head. Semiconductor ETF. Yeah, I'd want to be a little careful on the NVIDIA and AMD because SMH as the ETF is still inside of Friday's range. So just be a little patient on that. I want to make sure that the 2 minute and the 5 minute opening bar range is going to give us something solid there as the SMH sector ETF is not as strong coming out of this morning here. All right, financials. Financials holding up fairly decent. Okay. JP Morgan, I had mentioned, somebody had mentioned JP Morgan. I mentioned this level down in here. Decent little area, 215-ish. For a swing. Something pretty interesting. MSTR. MSTR is pretty interesting too, even though, you know, they've been in the news and all that kind of stuff, monthly, weekly. I like the formation a bit here on the daily, on the 200. So yesterday we had a little bit of a pain gap off the 200. So MSTR might be pretty interesting too. Let me just check that pre-market quote for a day trade. MSTR. See, Bitcoin floating with the 57K. Yeah, JP Morgan's a ripper right now. No, this would have been better if the gap was outside on MSTR. All right, and we're open. All right, SPYs are gapping up, yes, but they're in that VWAP from 2 weeks ago. Let me get some internals real quick. Be patient, folks. Let's see. Just want to get an idea of advanced declines, 600-ish, positive 600. You know, nothing too extreme. Slightly decreasing a little bit there. Vol D, a 1.23 ratio, positive or negative 3 would be extreme. VIX hanging out. All right, NVIDIA, outside gap. I wanted to make sure that this held. So I got the 60, the 30, the 5, and the 2 minute here. All right, so NVIDIA, let's see. All right, you gotta be a little careful with the trap here, but let's see if I were to fix up on some NVIDIA here, just because of that outside gap for Friday's bar. Me gusta. You can see I was pressing out these options yesterday. Let's see, so September 13th. If you pick up the 110 strike call, give or take, that's going for about what, 215 there. Nvidia's long call here. All right, just got filled at 226 for the 110 strike call. Got filled at 226, AMD, I'm not AMD, Nvidia. Let me see, Tesla. Just outside gap from Friday. I mean, not Friday, Wednesday. So I'm already long AVGO and Tesla here for the swing. But AVGO 2, I like this 3-bar pattern. We're not done yet. We just opened up. AVGO for the day as well. If I were to pick up, say, now we haven't cleared, again, Friday's bar here. It's on daily. So you might want to be a little patient on that. But if you wanted to get some day trade action on AVGO, let's see, if you pick up, say, maybe the 144. Those are going for about 208 here. Want to be a little careful with bullish exposure. SPY's struggling a little bit here. All right, just filled these here at 203. AVGO, the 144 strike call for September 13th. Okay, for a day trade. All right, Tesla as well, looking decent. All right, gotta be a little careful there with the video on the trap there. There's a trap. Let me see, Tesla's already ripping. Picked these up for 840 yesterday. They're already up $2 on these almost. Nice for the swing. Let's see, Tesla, test me up. For the day trade. I want to be a little patient here on this. The video's already trapping a little bit there. Gotta be careful with bullish exposure here. I don't like that wick here as much on this on the video. I want to be a little careful. Tesla the video might be a cut. Too early for that yet though. Yeah, so I want to be a little patient here for bullish exposure. All right, just because we gapped up does not mean that we're going to continue up. Advanced declines basically flat. Vol D ratio up versus down volume on New York Stock Exchange. It's slightly negative, -2 to 1. And VIX is just kind of hanging out. VIX is still holding down about what 2%. It's just hanging out very early, right? Only opening. We just opened up for only been open for about 7 minutes. Let's see. IWM small caps. A bit more weaker this morning. Let's see what's AMD doing. Yep, AMD. So it's gapping up and fading down. So SMH shaking my head. Let me know a bit here, just to be a bit careful with NVIDIA and AMD here. All right. So NVIDIA is below its opening print bar. All right, so I want to give this a little space here. We have a gap fill right there. Usually I don't like to fill it right, or usually I don't like to exit right as we're potentially about to gap fill there, but that was one of the bigger concerns that I had with this play here, okay? Due to SMH, all right? So, you know, stop loss, you know, 106-ish. I'm just gonna price slice this out. Let me just see what the 105, 49 looks like just really quickly here below that gap in terms of risk. All right, that was the concern with that play right there on NVIDIA. I don't want to say I knew what was going to happen, but I kind of knew, like, SMH, I'm like, yeah, be careful with these AMD and NVIDIA gap up, right? So 105.49, let me just see what that looks like here for some risk. All right, as you can see, these are down about 90 cents. Run a risk profile on that. Boom, bang, 105.49. What I bought for 226, you'd be risking about, dollar. I'd say $1.40, $1.45, give or take. All right, if you put your stop loss down in here. All right, I want to give it a little. I want to give it a little bit of space. All right, $1.40 of risk potentially. All right, see if and when it could fill the gap, how it reacts and responds. That was the risk of this play. It kind of, we're below VWAP, that white dash line right there. So I want to see how this, if and when we can fill this gap. I don't want to get cut out. Usually, like, when you get on the opening bar range, okay, today's not a super trendy day, okay, inside bar, right? Market's probably waiting for tomorrow's CPI, okay? Not a lot of news catalysts today, right? Everything's mainly tomorrow's CPI for, this week as a catalyst, right? So I don't like to stop out like right below that opening bar range right there, because what will happen is, like, a lot of people get scared out and they get stopped out, and right? But so I want to give some space, in short, right there, okay? As my stop loss is. Now we have this gap fill here, so I'll just make a note of that. All right, so we'll see how it respects or responds off this gap fill, and then ideally, yes, I would want it to get back above its VWAP here. All right. Microsoft, I'll check it. Microsoft giving us nice little positive COG. Bueno. Ooh, nice. Decent. We're breaking above Friday's bar. Microsoft. Decent. Friday. We're clearing here. We are kind of clearing here. And I like this. I like this positive COG that we just got here. Spies are trying to fight above its VWAP. Let me see. Microsoft. Yeah, Microsoft's decent here. Long call. Come on, take a swim. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me on YouTube? All right, I just lost internet. Fuck. Shit. I just lost internet, folks. Just lost internet. That's not good. Shit. Well, yeah, you guys can hear me because I switched over to cellular data on my cell phone here, but I don't have internet right now. It just went out on me. That sucks. So the good news is 9:45. So we got through the hour without with it. But yeah, as you can see, I don't have nothing's updating for me, and I just lost internet, unfortunately. So now I'm gonna have to. I'm just getting ready to pull a trigger on Microsoft here. TPAVGO. I can't even do that right now. That sucks. So yeah, I guess that's it. Mr. Blue. Yeah, here I am. And Mr. Blue is incognito right now. So TradePhantoms.com. I can't even click anything right here because it's gonna. I don't have right. So TradePhantoms.com. If this floats your boat, I'm gonna cut this off. I have to, and then I'll reset my modem here. See if that helps. But it looks like I'm out. I'm out of internet. That's not good. So TradePhantoms.com. I'm Mr. Blue. We got through the hour at least at a minimum. Okay. If this was floating your boat, go TradePhantoms.com. You can click that register button there. Okay. If you have internet, I don't right now. Okay. And then yeah, Thursday. This Thursday, which is the date of the 12th. Okay, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for about, I'd say hour and 30 minutes. There'll be a class, an hour and 30 minutes. That's going to give you the, what Phantoms is all about, kind of how we trade, okay, institutional order flow, demand, supply, okay, a couple other things too, all asset classes, stocks, futures, forex, options, okay, day trading, long-term trading, everything, right? If you're starting out just brand new, with smaller account, all the way up to if you're managing, multi millions, 6-7 figures. Okay, so it doesn't matter. Okay, forex, futures, options, even crypto as well. Okay, so this was a little taste of what it's like, kind of in the trade room. I'm a little off this morning. I jumped right off the phone right before I came on on YouTube. Went into I went into the wrong room. Okay, then I had to come back. So and then now I have no internet. So I guess when it rains, it pours here right now. And right now I'm going through a couple things here. So hopefully you still learned something here. And we have a couple of open trades for some of my Phantoms. As you can see up here on the upper left, this is like delayed, right? It's just I have no internet right now. All right, I'll update you folks with the swings as well for some of my Phantoms members as well. Tesla AVGO. Not only I'm in AVGO for the day and the swing, but we'll see how these work out. Very early for this. Again, January 17th expiration. All right. I wish I had screens here, but I don't. I'm gonna see if I can get the internet back up. All right, folks. I gotta go. I got something to handle here now, and cool. I'll see some of y'all this evening, tonight in class. And if not, I'll see some of y'all tomorrow morning in the live trade room Wednesday, God willing, if I can get some internet here. All right, folks, that's it for me for now. Blue out.